fans didn't just whisper this time. They exploded, they spiraled, they turned, and suddenly Taylor Swift wasn't the untouchable queen of loyalty anymore. She was standing in the middle of a Hollywood lawsuit storm she never thought would touch her. Because the moment private text messages, court drama, and Blake Lively's legal chaos started circling the internet, Swifties, the most famously loyal fandom on the planet, began doing something almost unthinkable. They started asking questions, they started doubting, and some of them, they started feeling betrayed. And it all begins with the moment the backlash became impossible to ignore.
And there is some major backlash coming towards Taylor Swift. Now, I'll be clear, Kim, I don't think this is going to really affect Taylor that much in the long run. She's got so many fans. She'll still sell her tickets and her albums and whatever. But what we know from Taylor Swift and her publicist, manager, they don't like this kind of stuff, Kim. This is bad drama for Taylor Swift. And usually Taylor, doesn't get a lot of it because her comments are off. And Travis didn't turn the comments off. So we're getting a much better sense of what some of the fans are feeling now that these Taylor Swift text messages have come out.
That right there is the spark. Because Taylor's brand has always been carefully protected, carefully polished, carefully controlled. Comments off, narrative tight, image curated. But this time, the comments were open. The fans were loud. And the emotions were not filtered. Suddenly, Swifties weren't just defending Taylor, they were questioning her. And the tone shift was dramatic.
Yes, as a Swiftie here, I am so disappointed in Taylor. I thought she respects artists' original work, but she was so mean to Justin and helped Blake hijack his work and credit. I've never been so sad on any celebrity doing this, but I'm genuinely sad that Taylor did this. I love her art, but it's so difficult for me to blindly support her in this. She advocates artists' ownership of their work, but helped her bestie to steal another man's work? Sad. Just sad.
That is not casual criticism. That is heartbreak. That is the sound of a fan who built emotional loyalty to Taylor's fight for artists' image, now feeling like that very image might be cracking under pressure. And when Swifties start using words like disappointed, sad, and can't blindly support, that's when you know something has shifted. Because this fandom doesn't turn easily. They defend, they organize, they go to war online. But here, some of them are saying they feel lied to. Then came the hypocrisy angle, the one that really poured gasoline on the fire.
Isn't it ironic that Taylor Swift doesn't want anyone to control her music, and yet she helped her friend steal someone else's film?
That line hits hard because Taylor's entire public narrative for years has been about ownership, control, and standing up to powerful people who take creative work. That story made her a symbol, a fighter, a role model to fans who saw her as someone who protects artists. So when her name appears in text message drama connected to a legal fight where another creative figure claims mistreatment and intimidation, fans start connecting dots, maybe unfairly, maybe prematurely, but emotionally, not legally. And the emotional reaction is what drives internet firestorms. Then came the next wave, not anger, but betrayal.
As an ex-Swiftie, I'm heartbroken. Also, I feel deceived. I was rooting for you, Taylor, and I'm so shocked at your vindictive spirit.
Heartbroken, deceived, rooting for you. That language isn't about gossip anymore. That's emotional investment turning into emotional fallout. Because to these fans, Taylor wasn't just a pop star. She was someone they trusted to stand on the right side of things. And now, because of these leaked messages and associations, they feel like they're seeing a version of her they weren't prepared for. And then there's the comment that keeps resurfacing, the one critics say makes everything look colder than expected.
It's just really sad. And again, she's making fun of Justin's essay story. Like, oh, play the tiny violin. It is such a bad look for her. Now,
that phrase, play the tiny violin, becomes symbolic in this narrative. Whether taken in full context or not, whether sarcasm or inside joke, online it reads as dismissive. And when fans believe someone may have been hurt, intimidated, or pushed out, dismissiveness hits differently. But here's where the story twists, because some voices aren't just blaming Taylor. They're suggesting she may have been pulled into something she didn't fully understand at first. Now the narrative shifts from Taylor the villain to Taylor possibly manipulated. And that's where the gossip gets complicated. Because loyalty between famous friends can turn into legal disaster if one person's version of events isn't the full picture. Some fans now speculate Taylor may have been operating on trust, defending a close friend, only to later realize the situation had more layers, more legal implications, and more fallout than she expected. But the scandal doesn't stop with Taylor's involvement, because the real explosion, the so-called smoking gun moment, comes from messages connected to Blake Lively herself, and they introduce a contradiction that fuels the outrage outrage even more. That word, smoking gun, sends gossip channels into overdrive. Because now we're not just talking about fan feelings. We're talking about alleged contradictions between public legal claims and private production conversations. Then comes the line that detonated the second half of the controversy. That message, attributed to Blake in early production discussions, is now being dissected frame by frame online, because later legal arguments reportedly include objections to language about appearance and presentation on set. So critics online claim there's a clash between what was said privately about marketing and what was later described as inappropriate. And that leads directly to the accusation of double standards. Now the internet narrative becomes explosive, not proven, not legally settled, but emotionally volatile. Because fans who already feel shaken about Taylor now see a bigger Hollywood power dynamic where friendships, influence, production control, and public image all collide inside a lawsuit. Taylor's name may not be at the center of the legal filings, but in the court of public opinion, she's been dragged into the storyline. And once Swifties start debating Taylor's loyalty, integrity, and judgment, that's when the internet storm becomes a cultural moment. This isn't just about texts. It's not just about Blake. It's not even just about a lawsuit. It's about the first time in a long time that Taylor Swift's own fans are publicly unsure, publicly emotional, and publicly divided over what they believe about her role in someone else's controversy. And that shift, that's the real scandal. Because once the internet starts sensing that a superstar's image might not be as perfectly sealed as it once seemed, the conversation doesn't calm down. It multiplies, it mutates, it spreads into theories, timelines, screenshots, and endless side-by-side comparisons that turn one legal dispute into a full-blown celebrity loyalty crisis. And at the center of it all is a question Swifties never thought they'd seriously ask out loud. Did Taylor get pulled into something messy, or did she knowingly step into it? That question alone is what split the fandom into emotional camps. One side says she was being a loyal friend, standing behind someone she trusted, reacting to a story she believed was true in the moment. The other side says loyalty doesn't excuse involvement in drama that could damage someone else's career, especially when Taylor's entire public identity has been built on fairness, empowerment, and protecting creative people from being steamrolled. And that's why the backlash feels different this time. It's not just random internet hate. It's coming from inside the house. Swifties who built their connection to Taylor through her battles for ownership and control now feel like those same values are being questioned. Whether that perception is fair or not almost doesn't matter in the short term, because perception is what drives viral outrage. Suddenly, timelines are being built. Fans are re-examining when Taylor and Blake were publicly close, when appearances happened, when statements were made. Every photo, every outing, every supportive moment is being looked at through a new lens that asks, was this friendship influencing decisions behind closed doors? And the more the legal drama between Blake and Justin Baldoni unfolds, the more Taylor's name keeps popping up in commentary, not as a defendant, not as a legal party, but as a powerful figure whose presence may have changed the emotional atmosphere around the situation. Because that's the thing about influence in Hollywood. You don't have to say much. Sometimes just being aligned with someone sends a message, and fans are debating whether Taylor's support, even if private, even if casual, may have unintentionally added weight to one side of a conflict that later turned into a lawsuit. Some fans now speculate that Taylor may have believed she was backing a friend in a difficult situation, only to later realize that legal filings, timelines, and counterclaims painted a far more complicated picture than the one she first heard. And if that's true, it creates another layer of drama, not villainy, not innocence, but misjudgment. And misjudgment from someone known for careful image control feels shocking to people who saw her as always 10 steps ahead. But the gossip world doesn't do nuance very well. It thrives on emotional extremes. So instead of maybe she didn't know everything, the louder narrative becomes, she picked a side too fast. She didn't ask enough questions. She let friendship cloud judgment. And that's where the betrayal feeling intensifies for some fans. Because they didn't just love Taylor's music, they trusted her instincts. They believed she stood on the morally correct side of messy situations. So the possibility that she might have been pulled into a narrative that later looked questionable shakes that trust. Meanwhile, the Blake side of the story keeps fueling the fire. The resurfaced production texts about image, marketing, and presentation continue circulating online, often stripped of full legal context, turned into short, explosive talking points that fit neatly into viral posts. People argue that those early production messages don't automatically invalidate later legal claims. Others argue they show contradiction. And while courts deal in evidence and legal definitions, the internet deals in screenshots and emotional reactions. That's why this story refuses to die down, because it sits right at the intersection of three explosive forces: celebrity friendship, legal allegations, fan loyalty. And when those three collide, nobody stays neutral for long. Some Swifties have shifted into defensive mode, insisting Taylor hasn't spoken publicly because she's legally limited, because she's being careful, because she's learned the hard way what happens when she comments too soon. They believe silence doesn't equal guilt, it equals strategy. Others see the silence as unsettling. They're used to Taylor controlling her narrative through music, statements, symbolism, or subtle messaging. So when she stays completely out of a conversation where her name trends alongside words like lawsuit and text scandal, it feels unusual. And unusual is all the internet needs to start spinning. Now every move gets analyzed. If she's seen with Blake, it's a statement. If she's not seen with Blake, it's also a statement. If she posts something unrelated, fans look for hidden meaning. If she stays quiet, people call it distancing. There is no neutral space once a fandom senses tension. Behind the scenes, industry watchers say this is exactly the kind of situation celebrity teams dread, not because of legal danger necessarily, but because of narrative drift. When a star becomes associated with someone else's legal chaos, even loosely, the story can grow faster than facts. And that's what's happening here. The original dispute was about on-set behavior and production dynamics. Then texts surfaced. Then public reactions exploded. Then Taylor's name became part of the online storytelling. And now, for a segment of fans, this isn't just Blake's lawsuit anymore. It's the moment Taylor's image felt human, flawed, and possibly entangled in Hollywood power games. And ironically, that humanity is what makes it hurt more for fans who placed her on a moral pedestal. Because if Taylor had always been seen as messy, dramatic, unpredictable, this wouldn't land the same way. But she was seen as calculated, thoughtful, careful about where she stands. So when fans sense she may have stepped into a situation before knowing all the layers, it feels like watching someone known for never slipping suddenly lose balance. The fallout from that feeling doesn't come in one loud explosion. It comes in waves. First wave, disappointment. Second wave, defensiveness and denial. Third wave, division inside the fandom. Some fans are already saying this won't matter in the long run, that Taylor's career is too massive, her fan base too loyal overall, her cultural power too strong to be shaken by being mentioned in someone else's legal mess. And they may be right. But even if ticket sales and streaming numbers never dip, something subtle has shifted. A layer of unquestioned trust has been replaced with cautious curiosity for a small but vocal group. They're not canceling her, they're not abandoning her, but they're watching more closely now. And for a celebrity whose entire empire is built on emotional connection with fans, being watched with skepticism instead of blind faith is a noticeable change. As for Blake's legal battle, that story is still unfolding in courtrooms, filings, and legal arguments that will take months, maybe years, to fully settle. But online, the narrative has already fused Blake, Justin Baldoni, leaked texts, and Taylor Swift into one giant celebrity saga. A saga about power, about loyalty, about influence, about whether friendships behind the scenes can shape public conflicts in ways fans never see until it's too late. And the reason this story keeps trending isn't just because of lawsuits or text messages. It's because it cracked open a rare moment where Swifties, known for unshakable devotion, are publicly wrestling with doubt, not hatred, not cancellation, but confusion. Confusion about how their favorite artist's name ended up anywhere near this kind of controversy. Confusion about whether she was misled, misjudged, or simply being a friend without realizing the legal storm forming around her. Until Taylor speaks, if she ever does, that confusion will remain fertile ground for speculation. And speculation is the oxygen of gossip. So the real headline isn't just that Taylor Swift was dragged into Blake Lively's lawsuit text scandal. It's that for the first time in a long time, the loudest voices in her own fandom aren't defending her without hesitation. They're asking questions. And in the world of celebrity image, questions can be louder than accusations.